Oda, can we watch the Jagex CEO interview? Jagex prepared to take financial hit to save RuneScape. Really? Wait, where's this posted at? The Game Business. The Game Business Show. Finally, a CEO mod that cares about game health rather than money. Wow, they're doing tricks on it in the comment section. This is the new guy that got hired last year or this year in RuneScape, right?
I'm a big believer in strengthening your strengths rather than sort of strengthening what you might feel to be weaknesses. I think people do, the French make wine and the Germans make cars and Jagex makes RuneScape. We probably won't maintain the revenue that we currently are when we make these changes. That's the truth. But equally, if we're taking a 10, a 15, a 25-year view, some short-term pain is probably worth the restoration of the game if we can get to that point.
John, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I love the fact that we've come to Cologne to do this meeting, seeing as Jagex is based in Cambridge, which is my hometown as well. So we've come all the way to Germany to meet up. It's typical, really.
I know it's not at all convenient, but I'm glad we're doing it anyway.
Yeah. You've had quite a turbulent, quite a baptism of fire since taking the CEO role at Jagex. How have you found it?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It still feels like a real privilege. Obviously, I've played these games for 20 years, and I worked here previously about a decade ago. And so it still feels sort of like coming home. There's a lot of old faces that I recognize. The game's in really good shape. So, it feels good. No regrets. Very happy.
One of the big stories has been the scaling back of monetization, or at least rethinking of monetization. That's been grabbing the headlines. Talk me through the journey. How did you get here?
Oh, crikey. That's a long one. It's a 25-year story, to be totally honest, that sort of peaks in 2013, where a few changes were made to the game. There was a new monetization model that got rolled out, the one we're all familiar with today. Mm-hmm. The sort of visual identity of that game had been changing. We're talking, of course, about RuneScape 3 here. Been changing for a little while. And I think many of our players started to feel like they were missing the game of old.
Think of this summer.
And so old school RuneScape was the direct antidote to that.
Yeah.
I think some of the challenges that led to the creation of our lovely old school RuneScape product still exist in one form or another inside of RuneScape 3. Mm-hmm. And so at least myself and the wider team, but mostly the team, have been looking at the way the product currently is, the happiness of players or where they're finding frustration, and deciding, well, if we believe this game has another 25 years, what do we need to change? And monetization is near the top of that list.
You did some surveys, and there's a possibility of getting fans back.
I'm banning both of the people spamming I kick heads in for 5 gifted each as well. Fate and Who's This Mimi has spammed that over 50 times each this stream. So both of them will be banned for 5 gifted each. Thank you. Just name out the guy who you want to get banned as soon as you gave the $5. Thank you.
If you could make those changes.
Yeah, well, that's it. So we saw in those surveys there was a lot of hope that we could sort of wind back some of the microtransaction approach that we're doing, or augment it to make it a little bit more sustainable.
Ezra, gifting 5 to ban Fate. Fate, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself, you fucking idiot. Yeah. Hoffmancer gave tenner. So that means they're both banned regardless. So Who's This Mimi? Go ahead and type it one more time, you fucking idiot, so we can watch the video in peace, please. It looks like you stopped typing it for some reason. Go ahead and type it one last time so I can take your dumb ass out, please. If you don't mind, brother. So thank you for the 10 gifted. Hoffmancer, thank you for the 10 gifted as well. My brother, I already banned him, all right.
Sustainable and healthy. And there was many people who were quick to say, look, I'd be interested in coming back to RuneScape 3. It's a game I view very fondly and I have a lot of nostalgia for. But that really pushed me away. And so that's one of 2 or 3 things that are commonly cited. And so we saw the responses and we saw the numbers, and we've been running experiments for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
That started with the removal of our kind of treasure hunter is our microtransaction layer. The total removal of that temporarily. That hasn't been done since it was implemented in 2012 or something like this. And so I think we started as we intended to go along, and really decided to not just ask players, but also make changes in-game to see what the results of that are. And the team have been learning for the last 3 or 4 weeks so that we can put some substance behind our own assumptions.
Anything surprised you so far?
Yeah, a few things. I think it can be a tendency sometimes to think, microtransactions bad. Nobody likes it. These are universally unappealing. And we've learned that that's just not the case, actually. That surprised me a little bit. There are many of the players who quite like elements of what we do and would be sad to see them go. more than I originally assumed. However, the vocal responses that we've got have largely been very positive. There's been a lot of hope, a lot of sort of...
Yo, Chad, do you guys like microtransactions or no? Like right now, he's speaking about that right now. You guys like that? Fuck no. No. Fuck no. Hell yeah, dude. Hell nah. I love them. Sometimes. None of that shit. Fuck no. No, no. No, 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 no. Yes, saves time. Yes, because I'm rich IRL. No, 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 no. He's talking about the polls from RS3. Okay.
encouragement.
It's the players from RS3 are the only ones that really only like it.
This direction of travel. And I know people are really looking forward to hearing what we come away with, just in the same way that you've just asked.
How confident are you can maintain the revenue that you need whilst also making the changes to support players? This feels like a very difficult objective you've set yourself.
It is hard. It is. We probably won't maintain the revenue that we currently are when we make these changes. That's the truth. But equally, if we're taking a 10, a 15, a 25-year view, you know, some short-term pain is probably worth the restoration of the game if we can get to that point. Mm-hmm. And that's the experiment that we're running, and that's the bet that we're hoping to take.
You've launched a new RuneScape game this year.
Yeah.
It's Dragon Wilds. Has I got the name right?
It is,
yes, good. I saw it at GDC.
Chat, is Dragon Wild successful? Is that doing well? Like, do people actually play that a lot and stuff like that?
I've not played it, but since then. But it was you shadow drop.
No. I like it. Not really. It's not out. I thought it is out. I thought it's been out, or it's early access. Okay, so they still need to finish it. Honestly, it's really fun. Solid game, but it's missing a lot of content.
In April, that's quite a...
Urban Season, what's going on, champion?
We had a panel last night here in Gamescom in Cologne where we talked about shadow drops, and everyone just went, that's a very high-risk strategy. So tell me, why did you... I mean, I guess that you at the time, but you weren't necessarily involved in it, but what was the thinking?
Yeah, no, I'd been involved from behind the scenes. I was on the board for about a year, right? So I'd definitely been following along, but credit to Phil, who really drove a lot of that, and Jesse and the team in Dragon Wilds. Why did we do that? There's a handful of reasons. I think we knew that this was going to be a game, first and foremost, for RuneScape players, past and present. And those are players, much like myself, that have learned to expect very frequent updates all of the time in a persistent world that will continue to grow and improve and get better over time. With Dragon Wilds, what we were launching was an early access product. We'd done a ton of work over multiple years, but the game wasn't finished. So what I didn't want to do is, and we collectively didn't want to do, is create a bunch of hype and fanfare, set expectations really high for a team of people, a group of people that are already a very high expectation coming from RuneScape and old school RuneScape, and then let people down. So we wanted to make sure we were sensible and humble in the way that we launched it. It's done tremendously well nonetheless, but when we do full content launch next year, you'll see a lot more fanfare. And sort of excitement because we've got a fuller product that we can ship and start committing to frequent updates on.
I was going to ask, how is it going? You're happy with it so far? Is it doing what you're looking for it to do at this stage?
It's done really well. Really, really well, Chris. Much better.
Well, that answers my question.
I think than we anticipated. We hoped for, we had some sort of very high-end goals and it surpassed those at early access.
Okay.
And so, the team's in a really good place. I've played a ton of the game. Lots of our players have. And you can see now there's a bunch of RuneScape players saying, I would love to see more and more and more and more in the product. And so we're furiously developing, we're actively hiring into that team, trying to build out the sort of pipeline of content. But the first priority is committing to delivering everything we've already promised in our pipeline, and that should come late next year.
Interestingly, I still think of old school RuneScape as a new concept, but it's been going, 12 years now?
Exactly. Old school is actually old school now.
Did I see it did like 200,000 players or something the other weekend? It was a phenomenal number.
Yeah.
I guess,
damn, bro, RuneScape has actually been growing. I know you guys are going to be like bots, but you could tell the game's actually been growing over the last couple of years, especially with all these WoW creators coming in and, uploading on all the platforms, stuff like that. You could really tell that RuneScape's actually been growing just at least a smidge.
This is quite a soft question, but what's made this game so enduring?
That is a soft...
Hold up, because of you, Omar. You know what's crazy? Somebody actually told me that. And, I can't, it's somebody with like, someone in Kick, like when we were when I had like a mini talk with them the other day because, we're trying to finalize like something going on, to see if I'm going to get signed to Kick again. And he was like, bro, RuneScape, has done really well because of you. And I was just like, wow, thanks, bro. But you guys got to realize, do you know that the auto block industries, wait, I'm about to gas ourselves up and stroke my own meat here. Do you know that the YouTube auto block name, right, pulls more viewers than any other RS YouTuber by double the amount of views by the end of the year? Because we upload every day. Talk to me about that, chat. Come on now. Stroke my meat a bit. I know. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we pull double the amount of views of settled, framed, all of them. Because we upload every single day, chat. Yeah, shout out to the team, though. I don't want to give credit to myself. It's the team behind me. Or you even pull way more... Or even Soup with Gillinor Games? Yes. But we probably pulled triple more than him. Because his is like one season, pulls a lot of views, but we upload every single day, so it just stacks up, right? We do take some days off, but... Yeah, I mean, the team behind me does very well, so shout out to them.
Honestly, I think it's quite a simple formula that's not very easy to do. I think if you can create a game
and by the way, we're the only RuneScape content creator that uploads on every single platform as well. Instagram Reels, YouTube, Kick, right? Facebook Reels. We're gonna be uploading on Snapchat soon. We literally upload everywhere. So there's views just coming in from everywhere as well, on top of us just killing the YouTube section as well. Did you guys know that I pull my most views at monthly out of any other platform? It's Facebook. Isn't that crazy? I get the most views on any of my social media platforms off of Facebook. Facebook, I guess because Facebook's old, right? And then there's a lot of more old heads on Facebook, which means that they understand RuneScape and they know RuneScape as well. It's all boomers. So they've all heard of RuneScape or played it before. Or there's also hella bots on Facebook. I asked Mo about that because you guys told me that the other day. And I was like, is there hella bots? He was like, yeah, I mean, there's bots everywhere, but like the numbers don't lie. Your Facebook does extremely well a month compared to all your other socials.
Is really diplomatically developed, meaning we don't release anything into the game that doesn't achieve a 70% popularity poll rating in game from our players, and so it's very democratic the way that we run the game.
Sounds like a good model for Brexit. That would be.
No comment. But that's worked really well, and it's helped us stay on the straight and narrow, because who knows better what should be in the game than the people who are playing it all day every day. And that's proven to be a really great model. On top of that, we charge one subscription price and you get access to all of the game if you pay it, which is really simple and I think increasingly fresh in today's market, which is quite nice to be able to be in that position. And then finally, I think we have some really clear lines in the sand that we would never transgress with old school RuneScape. No microtransactions ever, and a whole host of...
You heard that, chat? In old school RuneScape, no microtransactions ever. From the CEO himself, he just said that.
Other sort of clear rules that I think our players will all be very familiar with. And just sticking to those, even when it's tough sometimes to accept that content we really want to make isn't the stuff that's desired, it's proven to be quite successful in the long run.
Is there anything about...
But what are bonds then? Isn't bonds considered a microtransaction? Or does he mean something else?
I mean, there's a very unique, specific nostalgia element to that game as well. Is there anything about it that you can apply to RuneScape 3 or any of your other titles?
Yeah, I think Old School is a game that is swimming in integrity. And I think integrity is really desirable, especially today. At least that's my view.
Bonds equal subscriptions methods, though. Yeah.
And I think RS3 is what we're looking at for RS3 is also much about integrity. So visual integrity, monetization integrity, and integrity of gameplay. And I think if we put that right at the core of what we're doing, much as we have for Old School RuneScape, it will manifest in a different way for RS3. But I think it will still prove to be successful.
I played another game at GDC I didn't even realise that you published, which was Scum, which is an astonishing game, really. I well above my skill level and patience.
And mine.
But I almost didn't notice that this was still going on in the background at Jagex, these sort of projects. Are they remotely a priority? I mean, I'm not talking about Scum in particular, but are you looking at those sort of other projects still?
No, we're not actively looking at third-party publishing. That's something we'd done previously.
Yeah.
I think for Jagex...
Wait, what is this? They have like another game called Scum or something like that?
I almost didn't notice that this was still going on in the background. Which is an astonishing game, really. I well above Scum, I played another game at GDC I didn't even realise that you published, which was Scum, which which is an astonishing game, really.
They just published it. Did you guys ever hear of this game? Because this is my first time hearing that Jagex uploaded an FPS game, according to chat.
Well above my skill level and patience.
And mine.
But I almost didn't notice that this was still going on in the background at Jagex, these sort of projects. Are they remotely a priority? I mean, I'm not talking about Scum in particular, but are you looking at those sort of other projects still?
No, we're not actively looking at third-party publishing. That's something we'd done previously.
Yeah.
I think for Jagex, the priority is and will be for the foreseeable
They don't own Scum originally? I didn't know it was Jagex, though.
future RuneScape in its various incarnations. I'm a big believer in strengthening your strengths rather than sort of strengthening what you might feel to be weaknesses. I think people do, the French make wine and the Germans make cars and Jagex makes RuneScape. And that's exactly where I would like us to be for the next 5 or so years. Scum's a great game being built by a team in a company called Gamepires. And they have a ton of autonomy because the kind of game that you'll have experienced is very different to the kind of games that Jagex is known for typically. Yeah. And so the worst thing I think we could do is go and impress upon that team that we know how best to make a hardcore shooter. We back that team because they know best how to make a hardcore shooter.
Now, you've joined Jagex at a very, and I know you've been in the background before this, but you've enjoyed Jagex at a very tricky time for the industry. I know you've had to make some cuts and changes as well as every single person in the industry has.
Yeah.
How are things with the team now? Are they? Are you confident you can still deliver your goals and what you're setting out to do with the people that you have?
Yeah, definitely. It is a tough time, and I think everyone's feeling it. Nobody's particularly happy with the state of where we are. And I've been here just as you have for the last couple of days, and whether it's a banker, an investor, an executive, or a developer, pretty much everybody's feeling that it's not the golden days that it was a few years ago.
I've never felt anything like this.
Nor me. I think a lot of us in this industry are going through our first downturn in a cycle.
Yeah.
There'll be more in the future every 10, 15 years or something, but for many of us, this is the first. And so we're kind of learning as we go. I think that's why we've seen as much shock as we have versus other industries that are a bit more used to being in this.
I've seen moments in the industry where platforms have shifted and things have changed, which causes sections of the industry to go through declines or projects to be cancelled. But you always felt there was some other area that was growing, and there was some other area for people to go to look to. There were more publishers back then. There wasn't quite so much of the consolidation that we've seen across the industry. So I look at it now, and I think probably part of the shock is it's everywhere, and there's almost nowhere. And people are looking for green shoots and things, and there might be some in certain corners, and we're starting to see more this year than we certainly had last year. But there's not many.
There's not many. I think one of the saving graces that we have had, and I'm sure you've seen and talked about this at length, is the rise of the kind of AA, triple I champion, right? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the defining tune whenever I'm walking through a Gamescom or talking with folks in the industry. Is that, you can take a $400 million budget and there's not many of them left, but you can still take a swing with that kind of thing. But you can also take a swing with a tenth of that and deliver not so different results if you get it right. We've seen that from Color Obscura and a bunch of others recently, right? And I think that is a guiding light for many who might have been a bit disheartened coming out of a big studio.
I like the fact you said AA budgets, because I don't really see Color Obscura as a AA get. What it does is AAA quality. Space Marine 2 is AAA quality. These are all delivering the experiences you demand of them, but they're doing it either with much smaller teams or in much faster. And we're even seeing, I've started to see, I've spoken to 2 companies here who are trying to make games in 18 months. Obviously, much smaller games, often like roguelike or 2D titles. These are big companies doing that, and I find that interesting as well to follow. We might, but I still think there's room for AAA.
For sure. But I mean, if it can be done in a new, scrappier way, I think that's probably good for all of us.
Chad, do you guys like this new CEO or no?
Yeah. I'll ask one more question, and it's one I tend to end my interviews on, which is what's your goal? What's your target? Where do you see Jagex in 5 years? Say, where do you want it? Where do you want to?
I see a lot of yeses and a lot of nos. I see a lot of he's full of shit. He's better than the last one. He seems all right. He seems fake.
Where do you want to?
He's over here doing a lot of PR.
Take it.
It's a very clinical answer to that, but the honest answer is I would like old school RuneScape, RuneScape 3, and Dragon Wilds as a collective RuneScape.
Yes. We like him. Yes. Intuition says he's cool.
Franchise to be, if not the biggest, but then clearly the second biggest MMO franchise in the Western world. We're already very close to that position to be. Yeah, we are. It's one of those things that surprises people quite frequently, but there's a fantastic tool online that I won't plug the name of, but it sort of demonstrates mind share across YouTube and a bunch of other platforms, Google searches. How much is a game talked about? And I checked recently, and Old School RuneScape has the greatest mind share of any MMO in the West, which I found surprising, and I think many others would as well. And I think if we can stay in that position, then the size of the game in terms of the player base and the team, those things will
Old School
follow.
RuneScape on
And so
top,
I think we've established where we want to be. We're already pushing towards it, and the growth, at least for Old School RuneScape over the last few months, has been amazing. So I think if we can continue that as we are, we don't plan on doing big acquisitions necessarily or spinning up large-scale new projects. Really, the focus is on doing what we already do quite well, but making 1%, 2%, 3% improvements across 100 different places every year for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that seems to be a bit of the strategy. Focus is a word.
Focus is the word.
Yeah.
That was much more succinct than mine, but yes,
no.
focus is the plan.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, John. I'll let you get back to your meetings, and I hope you have a successful Gamescom.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
That's it for today's episode of the Game Business Show. It was a little shorter this week, and I know that some of you like things to be a little shorter. In fact, a more concise version of the Game Business Show will be available to paying subscribers. In addition to exclusive content,
I want to see, so this guy made a channel of him interviewing people, right? Man, bro, this guy's ambitious about this channel. You got to respect it. I got you with a like, bro. My man's a great fucking streamer. W. What are your thoughts on the new CEO? I don't know. It's going to sound fucked up, but I feel like every CEO tries to look out for the business at hand and tries to do a good job in terms of revenue. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see with his actions throughout the years and see what kind of shit he does. Well, no shit. That's his job. I know, but he was saying in the video that he's kind of putting us before the business. Like, he's looking at long-term growth or something like that and sacrificing money now and stuff. So I don't know if I necessarily believe that one, but I guess we'll see.